Jen Proc, and this is Nothing Ventured. Today we have Eddie on the pod. Eddie, hello.
Hey, how you doing today?
Doing okay. How about you?
I'm okay. I can't complain.
Great. We like that. So let's get right into it. What is your diagnosis?
My diagnoses have changed so many times over the years, but um, the last time that I've been diagnosed, it's severe depression and explosive temper disorder.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, my diagnosis has changed a lot over the years too.
Mm.
I used to have like generalized anxiety, panic disorder, um, like that kind of thing, and then it ended up just being OCD, severe OCD, and
Mm.
schizoaffective disorder.
Wow. Okay.
um, I feel like with diagnosis, it's like I'm compelled to share mine when someone shares theirs. Like, you show me yours, let me show you mine.
Well, that's the way it should be in life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
but I've seen many doctors, so it keeps changing. Every doctor, they have a different personality, they have a different outlook, a different perspective. Maybe I'm getting older, I'm maturing more, I'm learning how to live with my diagnosis more, and it keeps changing. Because one time I had uh, multi personalities in there, and it was all kinds of stuff. So, but what the the doctor said to me that I relate to, because I'm a Libra and we do a lot of thinking and trying to balance out things and fix things
the
for.
scales,
Yes.
Libra.
Yes. Just hopefully I'm doing justice to the scales.
Yes.
But I do see um, depression. I see that the doctor could be right with that, severe depression. And as we go on with my story, you'll understand why. And I also see um, the explosive temper disorder. It's just that I don't know if you ever see me wearing it around the clubhouse. I have a shirt with a hoodie with the Credible Hulk on it, and it says "Mental health feels like," and I put I think the shirt says aggression, and no, keeping him dormant, and I have the Credible Hulk on it because I got to keep that monster dormant to
Yeah.
survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you take any medication?
Um, I haven't taken medication in quite a while.
Okay.
I was on Zoloft
Sure.
for the depression, but I didn't understand that because from what doctors had told me, that was a downer. So I was like, well, why would that? Why would you give me something that's a downer to keep me depressed? And they said because we don't want you to explode.
Okay.
So yeah, I was on that, and after a while, they said I wasn't taking it right. I would just take it whenever I got mad. And it was like,
Right.
oh no, you gotta take it every day, and this, that, and the
Yes.
third, so you get in your system. And I'm like, look, I lived a very wild life, not what y'all see in a venture house.
Right.
So I told my doctor, I said, look, I can't be doped up to the point where I don't know what's going on around me, because I've done some things in my life that I won't disclose. But yeah,
Sure. No problem.
sometimes you have to survive. So you make rash decisions and you just live with them.
Mm. So tell us a little bit about this wildlife. Only disclose what you feel comfortable. I totally get it.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you.
Is that your phone?
Yeah, it was my phone, but it's not. I turned the volume off and everything. But oh Lord, this life. Well, I'm older, 46 years old. Through God's grace and mercy, I've got there, and I was the oldest boy out of five. My sister's older than me, and I had both my parents in my life. I was lucky for that. Um, but my father was a narcissist and a master manipulator,
Mm.
but he was real militant about things that he did, you know. And my mother was a straight tomboy from the Harlem, and my mother, she would just jump up, punch you in the mouth, hit you with anything, wherever, whenever, didn't care who was looking, was ready to fight them. My mother was a firecracker. Yeah. And you know, I went through life living on the edge, being young, because I was always looking to get a beating of some sort for something that I did.
Mm.
And then it got to the point where I was premeditating beatings. Like, yeah, I know I'm gonna get a beating today, so I might as well do some shit. Um, you know, and that was for me, all my brothers and sisters. It was just the way of life at that time. You know, nowadays, if you say something to your kid wrong, oh, we're calling so and so on you. My father didn't go for that. He sat me down and he said to me, look, you can call the people if you want. He said, at least you're living here in this house and you're getting beatings for stuff that you know you shouldn't have done. You don't want to be living with somebody else or in a group home where, you know, I know you could defend yourself, but what happens when 5, 6 boys jump on you and take your butt? So he tried to use fear into us. And whenever ACS came to the house, I'm like, I don't know what nobody did nothing to me. I was born in 1979, October 16th. My sister is 4 years older than me. That's my blood sister. We have the same mother, different father. She didn't know that for years. And I was saying my father was more militant. You know, he would sit you down and talk to you while he beat you. And going through my head was like, yeah, look, just hurry up and finish beating me and let me just go do something. But you know, and my mother was total opposite. You know, whenever you did something on the spot, you wouldn't be looking. Like I remember being in church, and she would sit us in the front row, not to get the blessings or nothing like that, because her mother was the pastor's side chick, and she would sit us in the front row, and you know, I'd be mad because I didn't want to go to church. I wanted to go hang out with my father. You know, my father was a mechanic, and he worked on cars and stuff like that. So at a young age, I knew that I was dyslexic. I had a reading disability, and I had a lot of people fooled. They didn't know I couldn't read, because with dyslexia, you see things backwards. You spell things backwards. B's, D's, P's, Q's, L's, sevens, ones, W's, V's. You could get any of those confused.
Yeah.
And I had a photographic memory. So whenever you tell me something, I can memorize it. So I used to get girls in my school to read my books to me or the answers or whatever for the test. And I went to school and nobody knew I was dyslexic till like for a while. I think it was like 6th or 7th grade.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and one teacher.
Are you were the only one that knew, or did you tell anybody?
No, I didn't tell nobody. I didn't tell nobody because I was a mama's boy, and didn't matter what my mama did, I still loved her. I may have wanted choked her, but I wouldn't let nobody else do it. But I was mama's stupid ass. I was her ugliest child. I was so
Mm.
I mental abuse, physical abuse. I got it all. But um, when you do things and say things to a child so many times, they start to just believe it. And it's like it doesn't matter what no one else says to you, you believe it, especially if it's coming from a person that you love.
Absolutely.
That used to be part of my game, part of my rap when I was out there trying to get girls. I'm like, nah, I'm ugly. My mama says so. Oh, you're not ugly. You calling my mama a liar? But yeah, that went on for a while, and then the teacher, because my mother, she worked in every school that I went to, on the PTA board, all kinds of stuff. So I couldn't get away from this lady. I get a little girlfriend in school. She's embarrassing me in front of people, slapping me and popping me and all kinds of stuff. And then kids could be cruel.
Mm.
But I didn't go for that. That was the beginning of my explosive temper disorder. Nobody never noticed it. You laughed at me when we got in that schoolyard or when we got in that gym. Somebody got hurt. Yeah, but and then people started to notice that I was a no nonsense kid for a long time. I wouldn't let people hug me. I wouldn't let people touch me.
Mm.
Even family members. I got an aunt that I punched in the face for trying to hug me. I put my hand out so she could shake my hand, and she slapped away my hand and said, "Come here, nephew," and put her arms around me, uppercut straight to the face.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Uppercut.
I got so. Well, I told you my father was a mechanic, but he also had a black belt in Taekwondo. So he taught all of his sons how to defend themselves. He taught all of us certain skills with the mechanic stuff. He didn't teach me as much as I would have wanted him to teach me. I for a while he said I was jealous of my brothers, and I said to him, I said, "How? I'm the oldest. They're what already did."
Yeah.
I'm like, so, but everybody has a different perception on life. I just think that was his way to manipulate us because he had all of us telling on each other. And when I figured it out, I wouldn't tell. I didn't care what my brothers did, as long as they didn't get killed
Right.
or they didn't get hurt real bad. I wouldn't tell, but they would. Oh, Eddie did this. Oh, Eddie took. You said don't go off the block, but we was up at Ajax Park. I'm like, oh wow. You said don't go off the block, but we in Springfield, but we live in Ozone Park. What the hell are you doing? See, this is why I don't take you nowhere. Shut up. But young kids don't know no better. Get out in the street, have a good time, see things they don't normally see, and they can't wait to tell somebody. So, my father had the whole manipulation game down packed. Because he had all of us telling on each other.
No.
But, I don't, I had a rough childhood, but I guess I'm getting older. Now I don't see it as so rough. Like I said, I've been blessed. I come into a venture house and meeting people like you and talking to people and sharing my story, which a lot of people are scared to do because they're worried about what this person's going to think about me or what they're going to. I I have no fears or worries about what the next person think about me.
Mm.
I give respect, so I demand respect. And if you're not going to respect me, just stay away from me. That's just how I live.
It's hard for me to imagine you enraged or raging, um, just because how you present yourself and your energy about you is very calm.
Well, that might be where the multi-personality, schizophrenia, so forth and so on, comes in, because as a young black man, I learned the thing that my parents didn't teach me, that schools didn't teach me. You know, society said a little bit about this, and I'm not going to stay on the topic too long. But being a young black man is hard, you know, because of the racial stereotypes. And then being a young black man with mental problems is even harder, you know, because most people see a big, because I'm a bigger guy, you know, 5'11", 300 pounds, you know, not a bunch of muscle, but enough to, you know, look all right. And people are scared of me. People are just naturally scared of me. And I said, I don't know if it's the look I have on my face or, you know, and even like getting on the bus, doing normal stuff. People tend to shy away and move. And I'm like, they don't even know my story yet, you know, and but I'm always willing to help anyone. I guess because I didn't have what I wanted as family growing up, or what I thought family was supposed to be. You know, growing up, for me, I watched the Huxtables, I watched Boy Meets World, Corey and Topanga. I couldn't wait to find my Topanga. You know, the Huxtables, uh, when they came out with Michael Jamel Warner, was dyslexic, and I'm looking at all that he could do and so forth and so on. You know, maybe I can't read on the level that society says is good, but I'm still here, still getting by, still making it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm on Social Security Disability, SSI. It's decent money, but it's not really enough to live. But I make it work. You know, I do the T-shirts at Adventure House and the
Right.
cups, hats, and apparel. So, you know, when I figured out that I was gifted with my hands, I just started crocheting, sewing, knitting that. And I was a mama's boy, so I was always up under mama. And I'm watching her and listening to what she's saying, and I just picked up stuff. And, you know, I basically lived my life on the bartered system. You'll read this for me. You'll do this for me. You'll fill this application out for me. And I got you. I'll fix this. I'll do that. I nicely said, hoard myself out all my life for people to use me so I could get things done. Yeah.
Yeah. Corey and Topanga.
Yeah, that was the show when I was growing up. And I realized, because I'm a Libra, you know, I do a lot of thinking, that all my life I was just looking for love in all the wrong places.
Mm.
You know, dating older women, from being kicked out of the house, and having issues with my mother, you know, because a young man's first love is his mother.
Sure.
A young woman's first love is her father. You know, because it's just an emotional attachment and the caring that the other sex gives, but men didn't teach young men growing up certain things. And since I was so close to my mother, I knew everything that a woman would teach a girl.
Mm.
So I made myself be a certain way. And my mother told me, she used to say to me, want a woman, don't need a woman. And I used to try to figure out what that means. And I put it in my perception as I should be able to do everything that a woman does so I could want a woman, not need a woman.
Absolutely.
You know, and I teach my son that. I'm like, morals, values, stand on them. Don't break them for nothing to no one. Don't break them because you're in love. Don't break them because you're in pain. Don't break them because you're mad. You know, stand on them. And I said that will gain you respect, and that will make people automatically start following you, even if you don't want it. When you're a natural born leader, even if you don't want it, it shows.
Absolutely.
You know, some of the stuff that happens to us, we don't see what it could lead to. A lot of people always go into the phase of why me? Why me? It's always why me when things are going bad. But when you're getting all the gifts that life could give, the promotions and this, that, and the third, I don't hear nobody saying thank you. I don't hear nobody appreciating it. You know, so some will say that, wow, you had it rough, Eddie. You know, you had a bad life, and how did you overcome it? Because I looked past the bullshit. Excuse my language, but and I said this could be worse. It could be way worse. I had good times too growing up. You know, my father and my mother was together. They was there in the house all the time, but it seemed like to me my father wasn't there. But he was working a job, and then he owned his own business. I had go-karts, motorbikes, cars, but I didn't have the love that, oh, come in the garage, help me turn some wrenches. Let me tell you that this is a crescent wrench. Oh, let me tell you that this is this wrench. Let me show you my skill, laugh and joke. You know, and then I watched younger brothers have that relationship.
Mm. That must have been very hard.
Yes and no, because I got to a point where it didn't matter what neither one of my parents thought. I got to a point where I didn't care what nobody thought. You know, because I had an extremely big family. My father is the second oldest out of 12. My mother's the baby out of 15.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, I could go anywhere and family's around the corner somewhere. So as a young kid, knowing that and having all of those beatings and talks about you're ugly and stupidest child and this, that, and the third, and then watching my sister, which is very fair skinned, get stuff that we didn't get.
Mm.
Play with kids that we couldn't play with. I caught racial profiling very early. I caught the difference between a boy and a girl very early. And I just started to not care about nothing. Not care about nothing, as long as I get what I want.
Right.
And that in itself is just not a good feeling. You know, some people would think, "Wow, okay, so that's how you made it." But no, that too is not really a good feeling when you don't care about nothing. You know, and for me, that made me start thinking about what should I care about and why I don't have nothing to care about,
Right.
or what am I overlooking that I should be caring about, which probably started the depression.
Yes, what I was gonna say is, when in your journey did you determine that it was time to go see a doctor?
Who? Um, I have a son named Gavin. Um, I really believe he's my angel. He's I'm not gonna say my reason for living, but as a this point in my life, so much stuff that I've done, I see things in him that he don't even know that's there, and it gives me a reason to break the chain. That's one of my biggest things in life. You know, some people are not strong enough to, but luckily I am. I'm breaking the chain on a lot of things, family curses, families not dealing with each other, not talking to each other, because that rolls down to the kids. And
Yeah.
so, you know, I winded up on Rockaway Parkway and trying to kill myself. I jumped in the ocean, but I used to be a certified lifeguard, so my training wouldn't allow me to drown myself. Um, then,
So you swam?
huh?
You swam to shore?
I swam to shore, right over there by off of the Rockaway Parkway where the horses and stuff is at. Um, then I laid in the middle of the parkway. It was about maybe 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Cars are flying by me, 80 miles per hour, 90 miles per hour. And I just laid there and I said, I prayed. I prayed. I said, dear Lord, if you get me out of this one, I haven't heard your voice in a long time. You know, I hear sometimes what I think is the good angel, and I hear sometimes what I think is the bad angel, and but there's this one voice that overpowers all of that that I haven't heard in so long, and I think that's you. And if you get me out of this, I'll do everything that you say. I'll listen for you more carefully. And I said, I'm gonna let 3 cars pass me. If 3 cars pass me and don't kill me, I'm gonna get up and do everything you say. That's the first time I ever prayed for myself.
Wow.
I prayed for my uh, stepdaughter, Gavin's sister, when she was in the hospital having seizures, and she was what 2 or 3 years old, and at that time I had it pretty good. I had a board of ed job. I was about 2006, 2007. I'm making $15 an hour. I'm got a brand new Honda Element, uh, street pharmacy, doing work on that, and also working this government job, the board of ed, and just side hustling, working on people's cars, putting music in, and doing tire changes and stuff. So I had money, hand over fist. I remember going to the club, blowing $5,000 in one night, just partying, hanging out with girls.
Oh my God.
Now I'm broke. I'm like, damn, where them girls at? But growing pains, I just chalk it up to growing pains. When you have and you're not worried about things not being replenished, these can be the lessons that life will teach you. I never saved for a rainy day. Even at a venture house, I was here for a while and nobody knew I was homeless. I was living my Escalade outside behind the venture house until one of the workers here, Patrick, he's not here no more. He's in Brooklyn right now. But he noticed it and he said something to me, and I was like, "Yeah, don't tell nobody, but yeah, I'm homeless. I live in that truck." He said, "An Escalade?" I'm like, "Yo, I got expensive taste." But and he's like, "I don't understand, why would you prefer to live in a truck and have money in your pocket than to be in a house?" I was like, "Yo, I can't afford it. I can't afford a house. I can't afford an apartment. I can't afford this. What if something goes wrong and I go in the hospital, then I come out, I got a bunch of bills over my head because Con Edison doesn't wait for no man. National Grid doesn't wait for no man. They want that money regardless. And Patrick told me stuff that I didn't know and helped me get a venture house housing. And I owe a lot to that man. I owe a lot to a venture house. You know, and this is why I do what I do in the venture house. Why I come here and I speak to everybody, no matter what age, shape, creed. Don't you know? I show everybody love and support because growing up I didn't have these things. You know, so I treat people how I want to be treated, and through the grace of God, I've been good. I've been able to keep my anger down. Um, I've been a member now of Venture House for 3, 4, 5 years,
Wow.
and I haven't exploded here, and I haven't even got upset. Well, I've got upset, you know, little things here and there, but not to the point where I wanted to be like, all right, wait till this person walk outside. All right, I'm gonna find out where this person live and set their whole house on fire. Yeah, there's, like I said, there's a monster in me that I had to learn how to keep dormant. You know, that I can't let get out and get the best of me. I feel so good as a person, as a human being, being good.
It feels good to be good.
Yeah, it really does. You know, it even though I'm not where I want to be financially, it feels good to be able to have a say so in what you do in your life. You're not a guinea pig for society because, like I said, there's things that they don't teach you in school.
Mm.
You know, a lot of things that they teach you in school, you're never going to use in your life anyway.
Right.
But even I was in, you know, special ed. I was in Ms. 1. I was in academy classes. I was in Scared Straight. First time I got locked up was over a girlfriend because I wouldn't let her go to jail. I took the charge. You know, I've always had a big heart. I've always, you know, respected people, but I wouldn't let people take advantage of me. When I said enough is enough, enough is enough.
Mm.
And
Enough is enough.
sometimes people take your kindness for your weakness, and from you doing things for them, they don't even know that that's your kindness, that's not your weakness. And then when you stand up for yourself, they want to try to be bad. They want to try to be tough. And when that monster comes out, and you know, I've had situations where I blacked out because I was so mad. Yeah, my doctor told me I was on the verge of having a stroke.
Okay, so let's end with something positive. What's one thing you really love about yourself?
I would say my compassion for things. You know, when I pick something up, I don't want to put it down until it's perfect. You know, I have a compassion for people. I have a love for art. So I would tell people to find your compassion in life, and it'll never feel like work, and it'll never feel like nobody's using you.
Very true. All right, this is a good place to wrap up. My name is Delia Van Prague. This was Eddie. This is Nothing Ventured. And have a mentally healthy day.